We grow up with a sense that doing business is tough, doing business is not easy, we have to struggle, nobody's there to help us. Obviously, those people who have struggled will know what it actually takes to run a business. But I can only assure you that over the years, there has been a tremendous change in the way the country is looking at running businesses. So, a small case in point is 10,000 crores was given by the government of India to SIDBI in 2017. It must have started working in 2018. We gave that 10,000 crores, nearly all of it, to about 120 funds. Now, these are funds called alternate investment funds. It's just a fund structure registered at the capital market regulator called SEBI. So I also happen to have done 6.5 years earlier at SEBI, so I know that space quite well. What did these 120 funds do with that nearly 9,500 crores? They were deploying it towards startups. So my next question is that why has not one single AIF or alternate investment fund been seen in Nagaland? So I would doubt that any of you have even heard of that term called alternate investment fund. So I just feel that there's a lot of work cut out for an organization like SIDBI for us to come here and just spend time and hold, with the help of IDEN, with the help of the government machinery, to just create that awareness. So we have our team based in Dimapur. I would immediately ask them to get active and to roll out at least a very large awareness program of what is available. So these startups in India, and I'm sure if any of you have read the economic papers, Economic Times or Financial Express, every day there is some discussion about some startup becoming a unicorn. And that unicorn is, as unicorns are, they are rare, if not mythical. So the unicorn term is used for that company which gets a valuation of $1 billion. Now that valuation of $1 billion is truly a very large number. But in those, let me say, about 1,000 companies which were given money by these 120 AIFs. So they helped about 1,000 companies. In those 1,000 companies, we found 23 companies becoming unicorns. What did these companies do? Somebody provided online education, and I'm not talking about Byju's. That's not a case that we would like to talk about today, at least. Maybe 1 year earlier we would have talked about it. But they provided online education. Somebody provided online tutorial classes. Somebody said that medical facilities are not really that easily available in our country, so let us try and provide a doctor on call and other such medical interventions which do not require a doctor to go to a particular town or village, but we have some equipment lying there through which a diagnosis can be sent to a doctor who is located in a larger city. So I'm just saying that it is amazing if you would, of course, in those 23 unicorns are e-commerce sites. There will be, tech companies which have created great tech solutions. So they also exist. But why am I giving you this sort of story? It's only to tell you that you have to learn to solve a problem that is near to your home. If you solve it for 10 people who are near to your home, let me assure you, you'll find another 1,000 people in a 5-kilometer radius, and then another 1 lakh people in a 50-kilometer radius. because all of us have requirements for goods and services. Services are easier only to the extent that it is sometimes, from a software solution, which I'm sure many of you in this crowd and other youngsters in Kohima would probably end up writing software solutions like we were writing, sort of maths problems when we were growing up. So I'm just saying that the world has changed dramatically, and with an educated workforce, with the kind of intent that the government has shown, we certainly are looking at an extremely bright future. Just the other point which was made in our discussions, that there's a lot of consumption in Nagaland for which the goods are coming from outside. And those same capabilities of producing that particular goods or service also lies within Nagaland. So that is one area which we could immediately start working on, where the consumption within Nagaland is also produced largely within Nagaland. Now, this is something which is, nothing is easy to do. So let's ask the 5 gentlemen and ladies who put their hands up. There's no business is easy to do. So when we work with businesses, we are equally aware that we are just bankers. We are not the guys who are running the business. We're just providing, and bankers are not the easiest people to deal with because they don't like to part with their money unless they get something very big in return. But I'm saying the need for us to make that large step, which we are doing with the opening of the Swavalamban Connect Kendras. It is only a place where people can come to and get some insight into how can I expedite my business, how can I probably maybe drop this business idea and start a new business idea. So we are talking to the authorities concerned that how do we get the right kind of people to sit there in those Connect Kendras to help the entrepreneurs who are seeking the help. That's equally important. My discussion with the CM centered around a few things. One was the fact that there is a scheme called Cluster Development Fund for which SIDBI receives funding via the RBI but from the central government. And this is concessional funding that is placed at the disposal of the state governments so that they can select priority projects and give those benefits to all of you. So whether it be a common machinery that is used by people who are creating a type of product, or a testing center which many people need to test food or other such things that are produced, or effluent treatment plants, or even some state governments have created hostels for workers because they live in different districts and they come to a particular place and it's convenient for them to have a hostel. So this fund is available for a variety of reasons, and that we do not interfere with. That is the decision of the state government. In fact, I would request the commissioner that the DCs themselves could end up looking at good projects in their respective areas, jurisdictions, and send that to the industry department, and that could become a good pipeline of projects. So the funding for these projects is not a problem. But we certainly are working towards better monitoring of the implementation of those projects. So we ourselves have got a third-party independent monitor who we utilize for ensuring that these projects are implemented. Because all said and done, let's be honest, implementation is the one big failure in many parts of our country. We have excellent plans, but if the implementation suffers, then what we want to give to the citizens does not happen. So that's a very important component of what we are trying to bring to the state of Nagaland. The other piece was really, and I think Wilfred talked about it, that how are we getting the CGT MSc? So the CGT MSc is a confusing, sort of abbreviation, but it's basically a credit guarantee scheme, and it is directed to people like yourselves. So, have any of you taken a loan? Those people who are running a business, have any of you taken a loan from a bank, and what would that value of the loan be? Just to get a sense. How much was the loan amount? 50,000. 55 lakhs. Okay. So great. So I'm just saying that the concept of micro and small. Now, instead of talking micro, small, medium, what we are now talking is GST versus non-GST. So I presume somebody who takes a loan of 55 lakhs is most probably in the GST system. You would buy materials probably from persons who give you an invoice. Otherwise, you don't get the benefit of the input tax credit which you want to claim. And all your sales are also happening on the basis of invoices. And all this lies in the GST system. But the very large number of persons who are in the non-GST registered bracket, that number could be 7 crore, 8 crores across the country. The number of those registered in GST is about little less than 2 crores. So we are really looking at how to help the non-GST registered entities, because the maximum help and the larger numbers are lying there. And therefore, the scheme of credit guarantee is meant for persons who are running their own small business, who do not have collateral, and therefore CGT MSc is meant for giving a credit guarantee to banks who do not take collateral from their borrowers. What we have also done recently in CGT MSc is we have said even the primary security. So to those of you who have taken a loan, you may have taken the loan for a particular purpose. It could be to buy machinery. That machinery is called the primary security. But if the bank goes forward and asks you that give me your house as collateral, that is something that you cannot do in this state. But in other states, people are forced to give their house as a collateral and it's mortgaged. CGT MSc is meant for those loans, and therefore we are saying loans up to 10 lakhs initially will have neither the primary security and most certainly it debars collateral from being taken. So we are moving to a situation where we are saying there is a credit coverage of 75%. There is no primary security that a bank can ask for. And of course, there is no collateral. So we will educate the banks, but I think it's important that our Kendras and IDOL educate all of you, because that's how you will be able to tell a bank that, no, I'm sorry, you cannot ask for primary security if the loan is up to 10 lakhs. So I think, there's a large amount of help that we wish to give, and I'm sure we will end up communicating and helping you. But what is very important in the CGT MSc from a bank's point of view is that in a state like Nagaland, the coverage is not 75% for the loan amount, but 85%. So it means that a bank is holding only 15% of the risk on their books, which is for a bank a huge benefit. I don't want to get into the technicalities of it, but just remember that a bank is benefiting more than you are by getting that 85% cover. So the small amount of guarantee fee that is being charged, which is 0.37% of the loan amount per year. That is something which banks generally pass on to the borrower. This charge used to be as high as 0.75% till April of 23. So from April 23, it has been brought down by half. This is again thanks to a great measure by the Honorable Finance Minister, where a huge additional corpus was given to the fund trust. That is, the CGT MSE has a fund which is in a trust. So they were given another 9,000 crores. So this allowed us as the operators of the scheme to reduce the guarantee fee by half. So I'm getting into these details because I think it's absolutely essential that when we run a business or we seek to run a business, we have to ask every uncomfortable question. And as the banks ask of you so many questions when you go with a loan proposal, it's equally important that you have the information at your end and you can also have a more equal dialogue with the banks. And I think that we will definitely make happen with the help that is provided through the SCKs. And I certainly heard the request. I will also request my team that can we expedite the opening of the SCKs at all the districts instead of phasing it out. We'll certainly come back with you to you with an answer on that. But my sense is, Mr. Acharya may not like it, but yeah, it should be possible. But I think what really does matter is that the communication between the SCKs and yourselves needs to happen, and we have to therefore probably create much larger awareness campaigns to make that happen. And just another point on the seed stage funding, I was very happy to see Iden has already opened up an incubation center. We'll be delighted to help that. We've already worked with 16 different incubation centers. Of course, they include the IIT Bombay and the IIT Madras, but we also have started working with a few smaller incubation centers, and I'm sure we'll be able to take that up over here too. But let me just sort of give a slight caution to all of you who think that an incubation center or seed capital is free money. It's not free money at all. When somebody gives you seed capital, remember you are giving up a large chunk of your company's shareholding. So, you might have got wrong notions. Sometimes, even movies sort of give us the wrong impression of how things work. But seed capital is something which means that if you today have got 100% ownership of your company, and I come in with, say, even 5 lakhs, I can demand 50% of your company. So, you have to have the right amount of training and knowledge before you even venture into things like seed capital. And therefore, we will certainly make sure that at the incubation center, we will provide all such, resources and knowledge so that when you run a company and you ask for seed capital, somebody is fighting on your behalf saying, what is the bargain? Because finally it is a bargain. So, whatever you read about in the newspapers that somebody has taken a 15% stake for, $500 million, it is after a huge amount of bargaining, and 15% giving up by a promoter is a very large amount of, his capital or what he owns. So all in all, I think it's, I'm actually looking forward to hearing from some or all of you. So thank you very much.